Techie, welcome to Tech Ace. In this 20-minute tutorial, I'll be showing you how to install Git, how to integrate Git into your Visual Studio Code, and also how to use Git for team collaboration. Stay with me to the end and I have another tip to show you. Let's get started. So the first thing to do is to go online and install Git. And you do that by opening any browser of your choice. Okay, just open any browser of your choice and just search for Git or Git download. So that is you going to the official page of what Git. All right. So go to Get the first link, and then you'll be taken to this page where you see all the available operating systems, um, all the available installers for different operating systems. So you click on Windows. I am on Windows, and then when you come here, you click on 64-bit Git for Windows setup. This was what will be compatible with my current system. So you also do same with the version that will be compatible with your version with your system. So you click on it and boom, it starts downloading. Okay, as you can see that it has started downloading. So let's wait for it to finish downloading and then we can continue. So now that we are done downloading our Gits, let's go into our downloads folder, and then here's the file we downloaded. So the next thing to do is to install Git on our local space. So we do that by double clicking on the setup, and then yes, so we wait for it to install. So let's wait for it to finish installing. So let's go to next, and then this is where you choose the location where you want to install Git, most likely your local directory. So click on next. All right, so it says that Git is already installed on my machine. That's because I had Git installed already. Sorry about that, tongue twisters. So yes, and then you choose additional icons. Make sure you select these ones. Okay, make sure you check out these ones. All right, and then you click on next. So next, so nests, and then nests. All right, so let's go with the first one, and then use gates. Let's go with the recommended. That's the middle one. All right, let's go with the first one, and then nests. Okay, let's go with the first one. Okay, let's go with the first one. All right, so install. So we are done selecting all the necessary requirements, and then we wait for it to install on our local space. Okay, so now it's done installing. Git is done installing, so you just have to go to finish or launch Git bash. Okay, so Git bash is the terminal for running Git commands, more like we have CMD in Windows. Okay, Git bash is also the terminal for running Git commands. Okay, so let's just go to, we don't want to launch it now, finish, and it takes us to the documentation. So as we are done installing Git, the next thing to do is to learn how to use Git for remote collaboration and teamwork. So first of all, let's make sure we have successfully installed Git, and we're likely to see this Git bash icon. Okay, let's go into our search bar, and then you can see Git bash, and you have Git UI as well. Git UI. Okay, we have Git UI. Okay, so Git UI also serves as the menu-driven UI for making the creation of new repositories and cloning very easily. Okay, but as a developer, you must go. It's good for you to go with the command line one, that is the Git bash. Okay, so let's open our Git bash. Okay, you can do that by clicking on the icon, or just search for Git bash on your search uh window. So after it has opened like this, let's try to zoom in so you can see it clearly. So this is the terminal or the default command line for GitHub for running Git commands. Okay, and let's check if Git has successfully been installed by doing git dash version. All right, so this shows that the version of Git installed is 2.470, and it tells us that we have successfully installed Git. The second thing to do is to identify yourself. Okay, so you do that by doing git config dash global, right, user dot name, and then you type the name associated with your account. Okay, so when you go to GitHub, um okay, this is what's the username. All right, so mine is Kobe Elson FS. So just come here and type the username Kobe Elson FX. Okay, enter, and then you do git again config global user.email Kobe. So you type in an email associated with your GitHub account. So mine is Andrew Friends. So you just type the email like that, and then click on enter. So you have successfully identified yourself. Now, in order to confirm, you can just do get config dash global dash the lists. All right, and then you see something like this, which shows that you are successfully configured. So the next thing to do is to learn how to clone a GitHub repo, how to collaborate to your team projects, and how to get started with Git and GitHub. Okay, so the first thing, when you open Git bash like this, it opens up in your default paths. All right, that is, let's go into the directory and let me show you in a moment. So it opens up in your user path. So when you go to local disk on your machine, you go to users and you go to your name. All right, that is the name of your local the user account on your laptop. So as you can see, so this is where we are currently at, Francis Andor, as you can see on the screen. So let's say you want to open a new project. Okay, you want to start a new project, and the new project is actually located, you have to want to install or start that particular project on your desktop screen. All right, the folder is on your desktop screen. So let's go to desktop. From Francis Andor, you go to desktop screen. So these are all the folders on your desktop screen. So you can see from this place that, let's say this is the folder. Let me enlarge my icons a little bit. So let's say this is the folder you want to, let's say this is the folder tech is, that's the folder you want to put your project in. Okay, so what you have to do is you have to navigate on the Git bash UI. Okay, when you have to navigate on the Git bash UI into that particular folder. Do you understand? And how do you do that? Okay, how do you do that? So you can see that you are in Files and you must go into desktop, and from desktop you go into what? The folder that you want to install to. So let's say tech is, or maybe let's create a new folder and say GitHub Pest. Okay, so we actually want to navigate into this GitHub Pest account. So what you have to do is to do cd. The next thing is to go into desktop. So you do /desktop. You can click on the tab for the autocomplete feature. So enter, and then I am currently in the GitHub. Okay, as you can see, the GitHub directory now. So I have to navigate into GitHub first. This is the folder I want to come in, and and clone my repo into it. So we have to do cd period slash the name, that is GitHub first. Make sure you type the name correctly. So now I am currently in this folder, and this is an empty folder and where I want to start my new project. Okay, so I'll just do, so when you're in the folder like, you can just do code dots. right, to open Visual Studio Code here in this what folder. You understand? So Visual Studio Code has opened up like this. So we open the terminal for Visual Studio Code. So you are now going to use the terminal for Visual Studio Code instead of the word Git bash. You can still continue to use the Git bash, but I like to use the Visual Studio Code terminal by default. Okay, so let's move it like this. So you can also have the Git bash as you have installed it. You have it integrated in your what Visual Studio Code. So you only have to go to this icon here, click on it, and it opens like this. You can choose the terminal that you wish to use in your GitHub GitHub space. So I want to use, you can either use PowerShell or Git bash. So let me go for Git bash. Okay, so it will open up just like we had in this GitHub. Okay, Git bash terminal. So you can now decide to close this one, and let's go. So first of all, what I like to do is to create my repo on my GitHub account first. That is whenever I am starting a new project. Now I've been able to identify where I want to start the project. Okay, so what I have to do is to go to my GitHub account. Okay, like this, and then create a new repo. All right, a new repo, more like a new directory. Okay, so a new repo for my project. So I create a new, and then you type the name of your repo. So the name of my repo is, let's say, websites projects. Okay, that's the project I'm starting. And then I choose my user. You add your readme file. Okay, and you can choose to add your licenses as well. So create repository. Now you have successfully created your repository. Okay, now in cases where you want to contribute to a team project, okay, the leader will create a repository and you will only have to clone it. All right, so I'm going to show you how to clone it. So this is on the other hand, that is if you're starting on a project on your own. So let's say you have to contribute to a certain project, okay, and you have invited. So after receiving invitation, you just go to repository of the person and you see. So in that sense, you're not going to have the repo in your GitHub account, but you rather go to the person's or the leader's repo, all right, and then go and click on that particular repo like this, and then go to code and copy this particular URL. Okay, copy this particular URL. Okay, so after copying, you come into your Visual Studio Code and you can do something like git clone. All right, git clone. So git space clone, and then you paste the name of the what or the URL you just copied. So you can paste it like this by doing Control V. All right, and you click on enter. So as you can see, I'm cloning the repo. Okay, so I've successfully cloned it, and you can see here I have what I created here. Okay, this is what I created, and I have it in my local space that's in Visual Studio Code. So I can. So the next thing to do, as we have successfully cloned our repo to our local space, the next thing to do is to talk about something called branches. What is a branch? So let's say after cloning, you want to start working. You cannot just start working like that by creating a new file and whatever that you want to do. It's essential to ensure something called git flow. All right. So to do that, we have to create a new branch. Okay, a new branch. And how do we create a new branch? So in a moment, I will show you what branches are. So we create a new branch by doing git checkouts -b or -b, and then we type the name of the branch. So let's say I want to create a branch called, and the name of the branch must be meaningful. Okay, it can be the feature that you're trying to implement. So let's say header section, right? Then you click on enter. So I've created a new branch. So you see that earlier on this place was main. All right, the main means the original project, and then we have created a new branch called the header section. All right, now so let me show you what the branch means in a moment. So imagine you are building a house. Okay, you have built a house, and this is the house. And after building the house, you realize that you want to actually have an office in a building, all right, you didn't include your office. So the only way to do that is to kind of destroy some parts of the room, maybe some bricks, some walls, and fix the room in there directly, all right. Or, and if you decide to do it that way, and in the middle of building or embedding the office, maybe you realize that you don't actually need the office anymore. Okay, so you have to stop. So in that at that particular time or that particular stage, you realize that you have destroyed the walls, you have created some holes in the walls, and you have destroyed the original project, which is not good. You understand? So to prevent all these, we can create the office somewhere. Okay, go for a different space like this, create the office, make sure everything is well done. So after you have completed the office, then you can take the office and come and fix it in here directly. Okay, so let's assume you can do something like that. So you just take the office and come and fix it in here directly. All right, so in that sense, if you find out that in the middle of building the office, if you find out that you don't need the office anymore, you can just destroy it or pull it down without affecting the original project. So this here is called the branch, and this is the main. Okay, so whenever you're trying to implement a new feature in web development using Git's flow, okay, you have to create a new branch to ensure a good Git flow. You have to create a new branch. You understand? So that it wouldn't affect the old branch. So after creating a new branch and implementing the feature, you can then merge it into the old branch. So that's what we are doing here. We are starting a new project and you are coming to implement a new feature. Okay. So to implement the new feature, I've created a new branch called the header section. So let's do that. Index.html. Oh, sorry about that. Let's do index. Let's delete it and create it again. Index.html, HTML like this, as you can see. So you have created your file and you can see some alphabet, some letter here called U. U means untracked, meaning it's only available in your local space and not available on GitHub, as you can see. Okay, it's not here. Okay, so that is untracked. So let's make some small changes by creating my boilerplate, and let's do something like H1. Okay, welcome to GitHub. So let's say I'm done for today, all right, or I'm done implementing the first feature that I want to do for today, and I want to push all my changes to GitHub. Okay, what I have to do is to git add, okay, like this. So what is git add? Git add actually prepares your project to be pushed to GitHub. It prepares your project to push to GitHub. You are staging them, you understand? So that is git add. So you have git space add. The period here or the dots here means you are adding whatever is in the current directory, all right? And you have lines, readme, and index.html. So you can include the path of the particular file that you want to add or push. But I like doing this because by default, Git will look into the files and detect where the changes were made and actually add that one alone. You understand? So we have git add, and then the next thing to do is to add a message to it. So git commit -m like this space, and you add a message. All right, it must be meaningful. Okay, so the message actually tells the other developer on the other end what changes you implemented in this area. So you can do added HTML boilerplates, something like this. That is the message. So you click on enter and you have committed it. So after committing, you have to push the changes to GitHub. You understand? So you have to push the changes to come here. And how do you do that? You can do git push like this. And most often when you have this error, what do you have to do? When you have this error, you just have to copy this one, git push set upstream origin header section, and then paste it. Right? After copying, you paste it this way. You understand? So let's copy it. Let's copy it. Okay, and then you come into there and then you paste it this way. You click on enter and you realize that it will be pushed. So let's wait for a little while. So you can see that it has been pushed. So when you see this, it means it has been pushed successfully to what? To GitHub. So let's come to GitHub. So as you can see, this is what we just pushed from our local repo. From this place in the index.html change that we made, we have just pushed it. And the name of the branch we created, header section, right? So when after pushing every changes like this, that is more like you completing the office on the other side. So you are done completing or building the office. Now you have to fix it into the building. So after completing the new feature and pushing it this way, you have to merge it into the original project. Okay, that is the main branch. Okay, so how do you merge it? You click on compare and pull request. So when you click on compare and pull request, this will actually compare the change between the main project and the branch that you have currently pushed. You understand? So create and pull request, compare and pull request. What next can you do? So you just type in the message that tells the other developer what changes you actually implemented in this very pull request that you are making. Okay, this PR. So for sure you can call it PR. So added a boilerplate, created a new file. Okay, so you can just add any message here, and then you click on this pull request. So when you come down here, you can see the changes that you made. Okay, here's the changes you made, and then you click on create pull request. So after creating a pull request, what you must do next is to merge it. Okay, more like you are fixing the office into the larger building. So merge pull request like this. So after merging, when you come into code, this section, you realize that you have the new file as part of the main or original project. You understand? So you have merged your changes into the original projects. That's more like you have been able to fix the separate office into the original building. You understand? So we are done implementing that particular feature, and you have merged it successfully. So later on, let's say I want to also implement another feature. So whenever you want to implement a complete feature, you create a new branch just like you've done, and then you work on it. You understand? So after working, then you push it onto onto GitHub. So when it comes to GitHub, when you go to this one, you can see all the branches available here. You can see all the branches available. So let's go into our main. Let me show you something first. So git checkout. So you see we are currently in this branch. So in case you want to go to our main branch, you can do git checkouts like this, main. Okay, because you want to go to the main branch. And then what can you see? You can see that there's nothing here, right? We created an index.html file, but it's not here. Why? Because we created the new changes on a different branch, which means the main that we have in our local repo currently does not have the changes because we implemented it on a different branch. So if you want to have the changes in this main, all right, we want to bring the changes in this main. Okay, these are the changes on the GitHub. On GitHub, we have the changes in the main branch, but inside our repo we do not have it. So how do we do that? So you can do git pull like this, okay, and then click on enter. Okay, so this will pull all the changes, okay, that we made into our main branch. So as you can see, now we now have it here. Okay, we now have the changes here. So this is what will happen on the other end of the other developer who wants to get the changes in his local repo. So let's say developer B, like I said earlier, wants to have these changes in his local repo. He will also have to go online, copy this code, clone it, okay? And let's say after cloning, he will have the same thing like you have here on his local space. And he can create a new branch as well and implement the changes. After implementing, he can also merge it. Okay, so whenever in the process of working, whenever you see that a new developer has made some changes, okay, you want to also start working. The first thing to do is to git pull, is to change to that branch. Let's say I want to, so it's to do git checkout -b. I'm starting work on the other day. So I'm starting to work on a new feature after my developer B has pushed a new feature. You understand? So what I have to do is do git pull, all right, and then I'll pull all the changes from GitHub, and then after pulling all the changes, because you have pulled it already, that's why it's saying git already, that's why it's saying already up to date. So you can then create a new branch, git checkout -b and then we type the name of the branch that you want to create. So let's say add project section, sorry, that's the new feature that we want to implement. Enter, and then we are now on a different branch. You can implement our new feature. Okay, so basically whenever branches is a way of adding new features without affecting the original project, you understand? Okay, and we do git pull when you are pulling changes made by another developer. Thank you very much for being with me, and this is just a short tutorial I wanted to give you on how to do git and good collaboration. Bye and have a nice day.